to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview in association with Boo Hoo Man. Do go and check them out. The link will be in the description somewhere underneath this video. Villa playing Burnley Saturday 3 p.m. or are they? Who knows? I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to do this preview and then within minutes the game will get postponed, but we're going to do it anyway. And I'm joined by Neil from the For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Neil, with a tremendous beard, tremendous haircut, has told me that he's actually playing Santa at the weekend. So before we start, he's going to give us his best Santa voice, aren't you?
I'm not. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the beard.
Do it. Give me your Santa voice.
Look, everybody knows how Santa and Aston Villa goes. I don't want to just walk out here and lose one of my legs or something like that. You know, it doesn't work well, Aston Villa and Santa at Christmas time. So I don't want to tempt fate at all. I don't want to tempt fate.
Well, an early Christmas present for us all would, one, be the game going ahead. Secondly, 3 points for Villa, Neil, that could take us to 7th if the goal difference is okay. That's pretty incredible given where we were a month ago, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I suppose it just goes to show the swings and roundabouts of the Premier League. It's, you know, there was a lot of things going around whereby people were saying stuff like the league doesn't lie. You know, your league position is your league position. Actually, funnily enough, I heard Sean Dyche use that phrase during the week as well, or at the weekend. But the league does lie in October, November, December, because the league isn't finished. And, you know, there's always opportunity to go on a run. And when the league is so, like realistically speaking, it is pretty concertina there in the middle. And wouldn't it be fantastic for us to go to 7th if this game does go ahead and we were to have a healthy win? What is it? We need to win by two or more goals and with deep fouls.
I say just two, like that's easily achievable. I mean, to be fair, we won by 2 goals midweek, so you know it is achievable.
Yeah, well, I suppose it is. And look, we're in form, and I've been deliberating. You know, probably the right thing to do if we want to make sure that there is a Christmas slate of games. We'll probably have been to close down the league this weekend. Unpopular position, I know. I can completely understand. I wanted to go ahead as well, but I'm thinking that more football over the Christmas period would be better for me if we needed to lose out this weekend. But should this game go ahead, the flip side of this for me is that we're in rapid form at the moment, and you know, a week could kill that form, or a week could mean that we've got 2 or 3 more positives during the week, and then we could be the team that's affected. So I think that the overall the right decision was that, provided that the 2 teams are clean from a testing point of view, that this game does go ahead, because you know, for us from a selfish point of view, we play them in the form that we're in, and I think that we can be very, very confident going into this game.
Yeah, the other thing is that I've literally just been thinking about whilst you've been talking is last year we were the victims of COVID, so to speak. I know everyone was, but we ended up having a few games in hand on other teams, and it didn't really work for us. So if we end up playing some games whilst other teams don't and do catapult ourselves into 7th, and you've got the points on the board, haven't you? We saw last year, you know, teams won't necessarily make those points back. So to take advantage of teams not playing, keep the momentum going that we've got at the moment. And I think you're right. At the moment, I think we beat Burnley. They're marooned in the bottom 3. We're doing really well. One of the form sides in the country, 5 wins from 7. I fancy us to win.
I do too. 1 win all season for Burnley, 8 draws. They're a workman-like team. We know that's what comes from a Sean Dyche team. But like, you look down through the list of players that they have, and that midfield that they have is all energy, all it's action and endeavor more so than guile and craft. And you know, if we are going to beat them, I think that we can. Well, obviously, I think we can beat them because I think we're of great form that we're on at the moment. But you know, it's. Yeah, I would be disappointed if we didn't come away with a win at the weekend. Like, I take a 1-0 or anything, I don't mind, but I just want us to build. Like, positive energy is better than anything at the moment. And look, for a long period of time, we've come in, you know, saying that we've got a slate of games over Christmas where we need to win and get points on the board. Wouldn't it be nice to have those points on the board before we get into the Christmas period, and then have everything as a bonus? So for me, I think that they'll move heaven and earth to play this game at the weekend. Aston Villa will anyway, I think, because of the form that they're in, and I think that they're not silly in their calculations with regards to that, and they can see this as an opportunity to get 3 points on the board, while other teams are, you know, will have a massive backlog after Christmas. We would be on track and still be on schedule for the amount of games that we've played.
I will say I was very, very close to putting an Ashley Westwood shirt behind me for today's preview show, but then I couldn't bear to lay eyes on the horror that is a Macron Aston Villa shirt. Didn't even want to touch it. I didn't even want to touch it. Those Macron shirts, they were not high quality at all. I guess Burnley's most explosive player so far this season has been Cornet. 50-50 whether he's going to play or not, according to PremierInjuries.com. He's not really a Burnley type player, is he? You spoke about the midfield, the workman-like. I mean, all round they're a very workman-like team. They work hard for each other. That's why they pick up more points usually than you'd expect, because of that teamwork and the ethic that they have. Cornet's been good when he's played. He's got me a fair few points in my fantasy football team, actually. It would be a bonus if he did not play.
He's been a little bit of stardust for them. He's himself and Dwight McNeil. Dwight McNeil is still having a quietly good season. He's getting up and down that wing, and I think
he doesn't get the goal and assist output, does he, McNeil? So
no,
he kind of flies under the radar because you're not seeing him in the goals and in the assists.
Absolutely. And I wonder, without tinkering with maybe what makes him tick, but I wonder as if that goal and assist column doesn't start to tick up or tick down, does he become a wing back in future? For maybe a 3 at the back team or something along those lines, because he's got all the endeavor in the world. He's got a pace, he's got trick, he's got a trick, and he's pretty decent tracking back as well. So Dwight McNeil is having a secretly good season without having the goal contributions in his game. But Cornet is the man. He's come in. To be honest with you, I must say a shock enough signing for Burnley, because he was highly thought of at Lyon.
I think he was playing wing back
for
Lyon, and he's ended up playing as a striker for Burnley.
Yeah, he was definitely further back the field anyway. I can't commit to know exactly where he played with Leon.
Sure he was wing back.
He's come in and fan favorite straight away, and he's playing up top there with Chris Wood, and Chris Wood is what he is. He's a big target man, he's a big lump, and he's playing well. But there's also another player I think in this Burnley team. He's a massive favorite of mine, huge favorite of mine. He's an Irish player. He's probably going to replace Ben Mee at centre half for the weekend. He's going to play alongside Tarkowski, and that's Nathan Collins. I genuinely believe that he will be Irish captain in a year's time. I love him. When he was with Stoke, Did
he score against Villa?
He played right back for Stoke against Villa. I don't know that he score, but he's captain Stoke. He's played right back. He's played centre half. I know in your Clareton Blue save that you guys you were looking for right back. You played centre half as well. There you go. Nathan Collins could be your man there.
Can he play wing back?
But I don't think he can play. He can play wing back, but I think he's a really, really good defender. Burnley got him, I think, for about 10 million in the summer, and I was really disappointed because I just think he's a great player. He's going to be a great player. He's only 20, and for me, all my eyes are going to be on him at the weekend if the game goes ahead.
I mean, let's hope that hashtag that just flashed up doesn't catch on social media. Don't want to see that flying around. Naughty boy won't come on the previews, but will always get involved and leave a stupid comment. What was I going to say? He always throws me as well when he comes on. Absolutely every time, without fail, does my head in, the lad. I was going to say, and we spoke about this earlier on in the week, Gerrard's not in danger, but he's kind of made a rod for his own back now, where every game in the Premier League is tough, but because the 5 games that we have won from the 7 are against teams that you would expect us to beat, at some point we aren't going to win one of those games, and it could very well be a Burnley at home that ends up tripping you up. So if that does happen, it's important that we don't all lose our shit, really, isn't it? And that we keep going, because what we've achieved so far, the progress has been not monumental, but it's been very, very strong so far.
Well, here's another point that I would say is that what we may not beat, it may come a time when we play a team around us. I think that we're seeing a lot more adjustments in game. We're also seeing a lot more squad rotation from the point of view, some of it forced, some of it not forced. And I think a lot of the time last year, or maybe the year before, when we were losing to the Brightons or losing to the teams around us that we would have been hoping to beat, even Watford at the start of the season, I think there was less and less adjustments made in game. And that's, I think that's symptomatic of football managers across the whole league. I don't think they make many adjustments in game. I don't think that they change up formations enough. I don't think that they're willing to make substitutions. I think a lot of managers are regimental at 60 minutes. And I'm okay with that if you're winning and things are going your way. But what I'm trying to get at here is that I think that with Steven Gerrard, I don't think we're going to see Ashley Young at the weekend. I don't think that
I
we're
don't.
going to see. I think we could see Carney start instead of Ashley Young, and there could be a change there. Depending on whether Morgan Sanson is back. I don't know. Maybe he puts him in there. I think he's more aware of, and I think he's true to his word of getting to see absolutely everybody. But what I was getting at is that even if we don't beat a Burnley, I don't think we're going to go down 2-0 to a Burnley because of those adjustments in game. I think that I think that we can dig in and we've shown we can do that against City, against Liverpool, and we're okay. We're comfortable without the ball, which is something that people have kind of lamented because Steven Gerrard came in and said, we want to keep possession, but we're also comfortable without the ball. And I think that's very, very important too, to have that ability. But there will come a time when we won't win, but I don't think that it's going to be a catastrophic, calamitous loss. And if we can continue to beat the teams around us, that's really what we should be hoping to do this season, and then spring a surprise like we already did against Manchester United.
Yeah. Toy Terror just asked about Wendy there in the chat. He's got a knock. He keeps getting a knock on his foot, doesn't he? Keeps getting a kick in the same place. He looked in a little bit of pain, well, a fair bit of pain actually, when the camera cut to him during the Norwich game, having some treatment on that foot injury. Just thinking about Carney starting, I said to you before we came on as well that I thought Carney would probably start. I'm just thinking whether Ings might start as well. Might be a front three of Ings, Watkins, and Carney, kind of more of a split strikers and Carney behind rather than a 4-3-3.
Welcome home,
to the left.
Danny Ings. Back to where it all began for him in Burnley
against his old team. Yeah, so every chance we could see that at Villa Park tomorrow.
There's a small bit of pressure on Danny Ings, and I know he's been injured, and we've had a managerial change. And at the start of the season, he was the only one scoring for us, and he played really well against Everton, and he was tracking back and he was everywhere around the field. But I think now that we've got our midfield sorted out, we need to find out where he's going to be best situated within the field, because I thought he played well under Dean Smith, with his all action around the field. I'm not going to call it effervescence, but more so of endeavor, I think, around the field is what I would call it. But we kind of need him on the end of balls now. We need him in the box, and we need him being a bit further forward. So it's somebody that I think this Christmas period is going to have a lot of spotlight on him. Is Danny Ings, and starting against Burnley, I think is definitely something we could see. But I don't know where we start him. Do we start him up top? Do we start Watkins out wide? Whenever he's come on, that's kind of what's happening.
Ings will be up top, yeah. But I think Watkins likes it out on the left. I always feel his body language is a bit different when he's out on the left, like he's not completely happy there. Me
too. Yeah, I think that too as well. I think that I suppose really he's not going to get into the English team as a left winger, and even if he has that flexibility, it's probably going to hinder him within the English team, because there's so many players who can just drift out to the left, like a Mason Greenwood, they've got Foden out there, you've got that lad that other guy at Man City, you've got you've got all these guys that they can come with Rashford, so the left wing is very, very heavily stocked. And I think Watkins wants to cement himself in that striker role for England behind Kane, and and be that second striker for England. And he's not going to really do that if he's going to be pushed out wide. So from a selfish point of view, I could see why that is there. And look, he's scoring goals for us at the moment. So he would probably feel aggrieved to be pushed out to the wing again, if it was just to accommodate Danny Ings. But I can see it happening, and I think he can still score goals from out there.
3 and 7 that Watkins has got for Gerrard. It's not bad numbers, is it? But I got hearing Gerrard talk about Ings the other day, I got the impression that he wants to play him, and when he's fit, he'll probably play. It's good though. We've got that front three positions, because we play so narrow as well. It's a lot of options. Even we've got players missing there at the moment: El Ghazi, Traore, Bailey. When there's got a knock, Young, you probably think isn't going to play 3 games a week, and you're still talking about having Ings, Watkins, and Chukwuemeka as the three. Ramsey's played there as well. There's actually a lot of options in that front three.
We are stacked in that front three. Absolutely. When you think of those names, when you really think of those names, and even go down as far as Jadon Philogene-Bidace, if he really wants to see all these players in action, and we think that Philogene-Bidace is as good as he can be, that's another guy. And he's what, 5th choice winger that we would bring in there, 5th choice,
I've lost count of the names that I read out. Yeah, there's a lot of names there.
Where Bertrand Traore must be sitting there going, I need to play well every second I get, because he's been behind the 8 ball, the fact that he's injured at the moment. And even Leon Bailey must be thinking, I'm not really a natural fit for what Steven Gerrard plays. So I'm either going to have to shape up or basically be happy with a bench position. So it's competition is going to breed is going to breed results and performances, you would hope there. And I think that Steven Gerrard's biggest hurdle is going to be man management over the next coming weeks when everybody does get fit, because there's a lot of big names who came in for big money that may not be in there, and he may favor Carney Chukwuemeka over those, or he may favor an Ashley Young because of the effort that they put in. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does and keep them all happy.
Yeah, it feels like man management is going to be something, though, that he absolutely excels at. It feels like he's got the respect of the players already. Back five, very good at the moment. I mean, we've only kept 2 clean sheets, I think, but, we're keeping the goals down to a minimum. Having that back five back together and all on good form is important. Cash is flying down the right wing. The other 3 are looking very, very solid. I think Target's going a little bit under the radar for how well he's playing, back to last season's form when he's played under Gerrard, in my opinion. Mings and Konsa are looking very sturdy in front of Martinez, who's picking up and making saves again. So keeping that back 5 together. I mean, the midfield 3 picks itself at the moment. I think we've only got 3 that can actually play there. So that bit of the team picks itself. So we talk about the variety in the front 3. At the moment, with COVID and injuries, the rest of it probably picks itself.
Matty Cash and Target are pivotal to what Gerrard is doing at the moment, and fair play to Matty Target. We all remember the broken man who spoke after the Southampton game, and he's not going to be the world's best orator. I don't think he's going to be somebody who's going to hop into the huddle, start grabbing fellas by the jersey, demanding things from them. I think he's obviously a meeker type person, but he's playing very, very well at the moment. And, he's marshaled a couple of really good players. He marshaled, like, Salah wasn't exactly, like, Liverpool played well, but, Target was there. He was able to hold him. He held Lamptey. He held, he's held some tricky customers since Gerrard has came in. And he is in a bit more of a defensive position, obviously, and Cash is given more leverage to bomb up the field and get crosses in. I did have a bit of a moan about Matty Cash, because I hold him in such high regard, and I think he could be up there in top 3 right backs in the Premier League. And I think that he could start winning penalties big style by driving into the box, because the amount of time he gets the ball in space out there and elects to cross it, and it's more so, it's not a negative on him, it's more negative on this team isn't built for crossing, yet we crossed the ball an awful lot recently. Still do it since Steven Gerrard has come in. I would love to see him put his head down and basically just run at a defender, see if he can do it, and maybe draw a penalty like Salah did, because they can be gotten.
Penalty. We had one since the second game of the season.
Yeah.
We had 2 in the first 2, didn't we? And then we haven't had one since.
Danny Ings, play him.
Due a penalty.
Yeah.
There you go. That's your little tip for tomorrow. Villa penalty, Danny Ings. Oh, I don't even know who'd take it if Danny Ings wasn't on the pitch. I'd guess Watkins, but his penalty record's not the best. Again,
yeah.
Who knows? Well, it's a conversation for another day, probably.
Give it Jacob Ramsey, man in the moment.
Yeah. Mate, that goal the other night. I've watched that goal so many times. What a goal. I mean, just before we finish, talk about Jacob Ramsey. I mean, people were questioning him at the start of the season, saying he wasn't good enough, and he didn't really exert himself into games last season, I would say. But he's come back this summer, and from the minute he came on at half-time against Watford, I've seen a different player and seen someone that he will assert himself on games. And that's what he's done all season. He's been playing well all season. And if he adds goals to his game as well, he's going to be a frightening prospect.
Yeah. You could, at the end of last season, we played Arsenal and he came on, and I can remember him getting really kind of physical with, I can't remember, was it El Neni or Xhaka in midfield. And I kind of went, this guy is going balls out, to try and make a mark on these guys and be a bit more of an enforcer. I think he hit one of them a belt of a shoulder and just absolutely leveled them at one stage in the Arsenal game. I can't remember who it was, but he's inwardly confident. That's what I see from him. But obviously we hear him talk in the interviews afterwards, and he's very humble and he's very kind of shy, and he comes across as a child, which is what he is. He's still, he's 20 years of age, but he's a young man, should I say, and he's really finding his feet, and he's somebody that everybody trusts, I think, within the club, and sometimes that trust can be worth more to you than having the talent that where everybody's expecting you to do something, and they're going, well, look, you've got all the talent in the world, why isn't it happening? If somebody trusts you and gives you those opportunities, that can bring you on too. And we're seeing it from Jacob Ramsey. We're seeing it in Carney Chukwuemeka. You can see Carney even last day when he came on. He did that. taking that ball out of the sky was just effortless to him. You know, if he was under pressure and if he didn't feel the trust from the selection team, you know, would he have done that, or would he have tried to maybe force the issue with taking that ball down? You know, but he did it so effortlessly, turned and then glided into the box and laid that ball across. So I think overall the management of the youth players, it was something that a lot of people spoke about as potentially would this happen when Steven Gerrard came in? Because let's be honest, Dean Smith was very good at it. He brought a good lot of them through and brought them to that level. And the worry was that maybe we wouldn't continue down that path, or there would be a bit of a stifling where we got to see what the senior players were like, or maybe Gerrard would just play the senior players to try and arrest the situation with the slide in results. But he hasn't. He's given these guys their opportunity, and it's all the better. And I think that all feeds into why the fans are so excited about this team now. It's not just the winning; it's the winning, the way we're winning, and also the guys that we're winning with is really, really. It's very colloquial, and it's kind of always been what Aston Villa has been about. Because when there's homegrown players in the team, fans are always going to love it more, and long may it continue.
Yeah, I spoke to someone earlier in the week who's played and trained with Carney, and they just said his ability is outrageous, such a talent. So it's going to be interesting to see how he develops under Gerrard, because I think we're going to see him on the pitch a little bit more now. That does us for this match preview in association with Boohoo Man. So thank you to Boohoo Man for sponsoring us. Thanks to Neil for joining me, and thanks to everyone who has tuned in and watched, and everyone that will watch as well, as we're aware that we're live at a bit of a strange time. So yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the game happens safely on Saturday. If so, I'm looking forward to being there. Take care. Have a good Friday. Up the Villa.